Well, this was one of the days that I was definitely looking forward to. Boy, the left is going to be melting down today, man, because we got some bombshell news here from the Supreme Court. You guys know that Colorado actually said that Trump couldn't be on the ballot because he's an insurrectionist under Article 3 of the 14th Amendment. They tried to say that this man overthrew the government based off what happened on January 6th, even though Trump was actually still speaking when the first breach actually did happen. He actually told people to go peacefully. Then he actually told people to go home. There was no insurrection. This is all a lie by the left. And by the way, he was actually impeached for January 6th, even though he wasn't even in office. Now, that second impeachment of Donald Trump should have never happened. The man wasn't even in politics at the time, but they still impeached him anyway. That is how deranged and crazy these people are. However, it did happen, and he was actually acquitted. But oh no, the left is still saying that Trump is an insurrectionist, even though the man was not convicted. Not convicted whatsoever. And by the way, everyone that was involved with January 6th that got arrested, none of them were ever charged with insurrection. But Colorado and some other states as well, Illinois just did this last week. They said that Trump was ineligible because he committed insurrection. Now, the left truly doesn't believe this, I believe. They're just trying to stop Trump by any means necessary because their Lord and Savior Joe Biden has done a horrific job. He's getting demolished in the polls, and right now there seems to be nothing that's stopping Donald Trump. Nothing. The Georgia case seems like it's going to fall apart completely. Jack Smith, all these other cases, man, it is all political and nothing more. Well, this ruling, man, by the Supreme Court, and everybody anticipated this. Everybody thought that the Supreme Court would actually rule in favor of Donald Trump. I remember the day they were actually doing the ruling. 9-0 was actually trending on X. 9-0, because it seems like every justice was actually on the side of Trump. Even the three liberal justices. John Roberts is a question mark, but you know it's really, really bad, man, when the liberals are making sense. So let's get into it, guys. Make sure you guys like this video, subscribe to the channel, become a channel member. Remember, live stream every single Friday. Just starts at $5 per month. We appreciate the new channel members here on YouTube. If you're watching on Rumble, click the join button, get access to the same thing, all for $5 per month. So here we go, guys. Right here on Fox News. Supreme Court rules unanimously for Trump in Colorado ballot disqualification dispute. And there was like 30 states that tried to remove Donald Trump from the ballot. This puts this to bed. States do not have the authority to remove Donald Trump from the ballot. You know what? If they were allowed to actually do this, guess what? Every red state could actually remove Joe Biden. Every single one. If Colorado was allowed to remove Donald Trump from the ballot, then here in Texas, we can actually remove Joe Biden. It'll be a complete mess across the board, man. A complete mess. So this was a great decision by the Supreme Court. What's really shocking is it was 9-0. 9-0. Not 6-3. Not 5-4. 9-0. Says here, the United States Supreme Court sided unanimously with former President Donald Trump in his challenge to the state of Colorado's attempt to kick him off the 2024 primary ballot. And you know, tomorrow is Super Tuesday. So this ruling is interesting because early voting is already started if your state actually has early voting. But tomorrow is a big day. Trump is going to destroy Nikki Haley. And this is a huge blow here to Nikki Haley, too. Huge blow. Nikki Haley's getting destroyed in every single state. Yeah, she won Washington, D.C. But that's like what? 2 Republicans in Washington, D.C.? Anyway, it goes on. The High Court ruled in favor of Trump's arguments in the case, which will impact the status of efforts in several other states to remove the likely GOP nominee from their respective ballots. The court considered for the first time the meaning and reach of Article 3 of the 14th Amendment, which bars former office holders who engaged in insurrection from holding the public office again. Really, that was put in there for Confederates. Challenges have been filed to remove Trump from the 2024 ballot in over 30 states. Quote, "We conclude that states may disqualify persons holding or attempting to hold state office, but states have no power under the Constitution to enforce Section 3 with respect to federal offices, especially the presidency," the court ruled. Now, that's key right there, because when they bring up Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, it does not mention the presidency whatsoever. The state of Colorado had argued that because they determined Trump's behavior related to 2020 election interference, accumulating with the January 6th Capitol riots, amounted to an insurrection, he should be removed from the state's ballot. In more than 2 hours of spirited, often tense arguments last month, the 9 justices asked tough questions of both sides about whether the president or a presidential candidate is exempt from the constitutional provision adopted after the Civil War. Justice Brett Kavanaugh spoke for colleagues when saying they were confronting difficult questions. Quote, "When you look at Section 3, the term insurrection jumps out," Kavanaugh said. "And the questions are, what does that mean? How do you define it? Who decides? Who decides whether someone engaged in it?" Yeah, the only thing about this whole insurrection thing is Trump. That's nothing more than a narrative from the left. Nothing more. Kavanaugh noted the courts looked at these questions in an 1869 decision known as Griffin's case, which found that an act of Congress was necessary to enforce the 14th Amendment's ban on insurrectionists holding office. So right there, they're saying that Congress would actually have to act. Well, guess what they did? They impeached Trump, and they had a trial in the Senate, and he was found not guilty. Yeah, that's what happened. So, quote, "These are difficult questions, and you look right at Section 5 of the 14th Amendment, and that tells you Congress has the primary role here, which they've already done. Like I said, the second impeachment, which should have never happened. I think what's different is the processes, the definition, who decides questions really jump out at you when you look at Section 3. Chief Justice John Roberts questioned Colorado's attorney Jason Murray about the consequences of the state's position. Quote, "What do you do with consequences of your position? There will be disqualification proceedings on the other side." Like I said, man, if this was actually the holdup, we in Texas could actually remove Joe Biden, for not doing his duty on protecting the border. We can just remove him because he's not upholding the Constitution. But anyway, he goes on. "And some will succeed in very quick order. I would expect that a goodly number of states will say whoever the Democrat is, you're off the ballot," he said. My point exactly. "It would then come down to a small number of states deciding the election." That's a pretty severe consequence. Yeah, because if they were actually allowed to do this here, that is the end of our constitutional republic. The voices of the people would not be heard. I mean, states pretty much, like Texas, for example, since I'm actually in Texas, man, we can just end the Democrat Party, pretty much. Any Democrat that wants to run, we could say, no, you're ineligible. If states actually had that type of authority. Now, they did say that states can remove state office holders. But what Colorado was doing was completely insane. Completely insane, man. There's a bunch of Marxists, man, that have infiltrated our government. And that's scary right there, man. That is scary, man. The number of Marxists that are in power right now. The Democrats, man, they have went so far left and never Trump Republicans have gone insane. They're colluding with Marxists to remove Donald Trump. Think about that, guys. But that's just my thoughts on this. What do you guys think of this? Black and White Network fans, let us know what you think about all this in the comments. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you next time.